Welcome to the KDrama Show with Ashley and Kim.
That's Ashley.
That's Kim. We're here to recap and relive our favorite moments from My ID Is Gangnam Beauty, episode 13 with you, our listeners.
We're going to jump right in, so if you haven't yet, make sure that... We're going to jump right in. Oh, I panicked!
I'm not even looking at you.
We're going to jump right in, so this is your one and only warning. If you haven't seen the episode, you need to go do that now before we talk about it. Okay? Yeah, it's good. That was good, right? Today's episode is titled, It's My First Love. Tensions are at their peak as MiRae and Kyungseok are on the fritz because of MiRae's refusal to acknowledge her feelings. Sua has taken advantage of the obvious rift between the two, publicly declaring her affection for Kyungseok in a game of relationship chicken with MiRae. When Kyungseok and Sua finally clash, MiRae steps in eventually admitting her feelings to Kyungseok, and the two become official, but somehow even this brings about its own form of drama. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Welcome to the KDrama Show. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Kim.
We're here to unpack your all-time favorite Korean dramas and chat about all the reasons that we find these shows so charming.
And so addictive, and we know you do too, so settle in with some ramen and a boba tea while we dive into the KDrama Show with Ashley and Kim.
For the Ashley Tea. Find us on Instagram at the KDrama Show. Please follow us. Also, if you drop a comment and follow on YouTube, we will also do a shout out for you. So, yeah, talk to us. Okay.
Quick PSA, this episode will deal with themes surrounding ED and bulimia, so if this is something that may impact you negatively, please make sure that you are safe. Go make yourself a cup of tea. Go read a good book, go for a walk outside, go check out some of our other content, and we love you and want you to take care of yourself. So,
yes.
Episode 12 recap.
So Kyungseok does the typical breakup response and dyes his hair after being rejected by MiRae. I don't know, I was kind of digging the look. MiRae meets up with CEO Na, and CEO Na helps her kind of figure out what her fears really are and helps her realize that, hey, maybe this pretty girl that's also having, like, you're having problems with, maybe she's not so different. Maybe she has something going on for herself as well. Mm-hmm. And then we had Woo-young Sunbae confess to MiRae that he liked her and likes her because she's pretty, which kind of causes a bit of a, like, what is that type of response from MiRae? Mm-hmm. But as they go home, MiRae finally understands what he's talking about of, like, it's okay to have preferences of somebody that you, like, that's why you like them.
It doesn't make you shallow.
Right, it doesn't make it a bad thing. And she goes and actually turns Woo-young down. But he very, very kindly tells her good luck. Mm-hmm. Just
with
follow your heart. Yeah, good luck with Kyungseok and follow your heart.
Yeah.
And Kyungseok unfortunately sees them.
Sharing a moment.
Sharing that moment. Episode 12. Here we go for episode 13.
Episode 13. This first topic I called Heartbreak Hotel. Kyungseok has caught what he believes to be a romantic moment between MiRae and Woo-young in their neighborhood. And Hyunjung, on her way to take out the garbage, also catches a glimpse of this same moment. And she kind of finds herself a little bit heartbroken by the implication of MiRae and Woo-young alone at night. Yeah. Even though it doesn't really surprise her. But Kyungseok has wandered to the Berlin, and he asks for some soju from Yujin. And Yujin realizes that Kyungseok is still lamenting his rejection and reassures him that eventually he will learn to only love someone who loves you back. And he said it's hard at first, but once you get heartbroken a couple times, you start to have better judgment. You'll be able to stop yourself from liking the person that you don't have a chance with, and you'll continue to stop yourself from thinking of that person. And I put, is he thinking of Jungboon? ?
Valid.
But Hyunjung is in bed, pretending to be asleep to avoid having to interact with MiRae, who asks if she's sick. And Woo-young has also sat down for a drink in his apartment, probably to prepare to face Kyungseok when he gets home. But the only one who is doing halfway decent for once is MiRae, who's mulling over Woo-young's well wishes to her and Kyungseok in bed. But Yujin, let me try that one more time. I was mulling over Woo Young's well wishes to her and Kyungseok. Full stop. Yujin announces he's gonna go home. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Yujin announces that he's going to return home when Kyungseok asks to stay past closing. When Yujin starts to protest, Kyungseok silences him with a slam of his shot glass. And he has 4 or 5 empty bottles around him and is nursing another. But this next topic I called Hangover. Topic 2.
Yeah, that looked rough. So at the lab, Wonho's taking a picture of Sua, and she asks him to include a picture of Dongwon. And as everybody is working on their concoctions of whatever sense that they're trying to...
Whatever this internship has entailed.
Yeah, we're not really sure, except it looks... It looks like I would get a headache, honestly, if I had to constantly smell all the things. Yeah. Like, if that's what you're into, fantastic. We need people who can do that. I would get a migraine. But Kyungseok comes stumbling in, looking like death warmed up, because he is very hungover and smells like a bottle of soju. Woo Young actually calls Kyungseok, and he ignores Woo Young. He doesn't want to talk to him because he saw an interaction last night. And he goes to lay down because he's not functioning. And when everybody is... I think they're all at lunch. I don't have that specific part written down. But everybody is sitting down, and, they're wondering if Kyungseok is okay. Why was he drinking that much? And Jiho is really kind of... she's already been on my nerves, but she's really annoying because she's always poking that, oh, Sua, you and Kyungseok. And she's like, oh, you should go check on him, make sure that he's okay. And this is when Sua takes the opportunity to admit to everyone there that she likes Kyungseok. And then she's asked, are you guys dating? And she just tells them not yet, causing Wonho to get very upset and storm out of the room. And we have Dongwon consulting his group chat that the girl that he was so certain liked him likes another guy.
It's so interesting to me that, well, first, the next morning, right before the scene with the lab, Woo Young has also been destroyed, but by 2 shots of soju.
Did he maybe have 3?
Maybe 3. We don't know his limit, but anyway, it's so interesting how, like, the photo suddenly seems to make Sua uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think she's realized that she's thrown Wonho so many bones that he thinks that they are in a flirting relationship. He thinks that he is her guy.
Yeah.
And she started to realize that that's a lot to bear, I think, to have to shoulder his feelings, because she's also shouldering other people's feelings too.
Yeah, that she's done to herself.
Yeah, and I think she's starting to realize there are repercussions to this.
Yeah.
Like, these people think that they are close to me,
mm-hmm.
and I've been holding them at arm's length, and now my arms are starting to get tired. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why she's starting to be like, don't just take a picture of me. Like, take a picture of this guy too.
Mm-hmm.
But she also kind of picks up on the fact that there's, like, tension between Kyungseok and MiRae, and I think that's why she jumps on that opportunity at lunch to, like, say something.
Yeah.
Because she's like, this is my one opportunity to
weasel in.
Yeah, exactly. But Sungwoon, when he goes to check on Wonho, who's washing his face in the bathroom, says, Sua is weird. She told us she doesn't have high standards, but did you see how she confessed that she likes Kyungseok? Frankly, it's not like he has a good personality. Sua's just the same. She likes good-looking guys. And Wonho pauses, and Sungwoon tells him he can't be too angry since Sua had already rejected him at the welcoming party. And Wonho says, I know, right? But she didn't have to tell me that she likes someone else. It's like she's looking down on me. Yes.
I'm glad you're noticing, finally.
Took like 3 rejections. But Seo Na's received word that Kyungseok's in the nurse's office, and he's nursing a hangover, and she seems embarrassed, but she goes to see him. And she's, again, such a good mom, asking if he's okay before getting to the scolding part. But she asks him what happened, that he drank so much to sit in the nurse's office, and he apologizes. And then she asks how much he drank, and he says, I'm not sure. I think 5 or 6, maybe 7 bottles. And her her knee-jerk reaction is, do you want to die? And she quickly course corrects, but reprimands him for drinking so much. And he comments on the fact that she must really not be able to smell if she's not flinching at how much he smells that day. And she kind of is like, stop taking this lightly. Like, no one will go easy on you here just because I'm the boss. If it happens again, I'm going to kick you out.
Yeah, I'll do it myself.
Yep. But then she's like, have you had anything to eat? And he says no. And she's like, where did you learn to drink like this? And he kind of smiles, saying, it didn't really feel like it before, but now I feel like I have a mom. And it softens her just a little bit, and she says she'll bring him some honey water for his stomach. But this brings us to topic 3, which I called Homewrecker. It is MiRae and the crew sitting around after lunch, sipping some coffees, when Jihyo tells Suwa to go check on him. She really is the worst. But Suwa and Jihyo are giggling about how no one could possibly say no to Suwa and how they're definitely going to start dating soon. And MiRae thinks to herself that everyone's kind of getting ahead of themselves. Like, it was just her blurting out that she has feelings. There's been no conversations here.
I know who he likes.
Yeah, but Suwa admitted to a crush. It's not like anyone proposed yet. Un also says to herself, it's a little bit strange. And MiRae asks what she says, but Un's like, oh, it's nothing. But MiRae stands up to take a call from Wooyoung, leaving the group, and when Tae-hee wanders in looking solemn. And Ye-na goes to her and learns that Tae-young had broken up with her the night before. And Un looks at Suwa with this kind of concerned look on her face. But on the phone call, MiRae learns from Wooyoung that Kyungseok hadn't actually gone home the night before. But Wooyoung is relieved to learn that Kyungseok is at the internship and hasn't fallen off the face of the earth entirely.
Right.
Then he asks if MiRae is okay, and she says yes. And they end the call feeling just a little bit awkward as Wooyoung sighs, I'm not okay. And I just wanted to tell him it's okay to not be okay.
That's also a great drama. I know you've already dropped it.
That
name drop.
He's in there, but yeah.
Yes, he is. And he's awesome.
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 But Ye-na and Tae-hee are sitting in a break area of the company, and Ye-na is angered that Tae-young had broken up with Tae-hee over a phone call and didn't even have the decency to do it in person. And Tae-hee says that she's also confused, but wonders if he was simply embarrassed to date a chubby girl. And Jihyo and Suwa are in the lab mulling over the breakup, and Suwa says to Jihyo, people say it's fine as long as you love each other, but I guess you can't ignore what others say. And Jihyo agrees, saying, yeah, a lot of them said Tae-young was too good for a chubby girl like her. And Un strolls past, saying, I don't get why people gossip about others' love affairs. And she just stares him down.
That was so satisfying.
It was deeply satisfying.
Yes.
But we see a flashback to the night before when Un is walking in her neighborhood, and a taxi pulls up and out crawls Suwa and Tae-young. She is telling him to cheer up, and she's always on his side, and he smiles sweetly at her, waving goodbye before crawling back into the cab. Which brings us to topic 4, which is called baggage. There's a lot of that going around.
Yes, because Suwa cannot help herself because she's spreading the news about the breakup. And she specifically tells MiRae about it. Of, like, how hard might it be to date somebody like that? Like, you know, how hard could it be to date someone like Kyungseok? And then she thanks MiRae for just walking away. Which is super, super rude. But what we had right before that, Suwa has actually left the lab, and she's grabbed her toothbrush. And MiRae, you know, that's when they had their interaction, and so Suwa was going to the bathroom, and MiRae's done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've already had a little bit of a standoff of, like, you hate me. and I was a fool to think that we were ever going to be friends. And she turns and goes into the bathroom to follow her, and she actually hears that Sua is throwing up. She's making herself throw up, and she's having this realization that this is a problem. And we actually watch MiRae have a flashback of her own past, and her talking about, I would throw up after every meal. There was a time when I did that, and that's so bad. Like, that's not okay. That's so bad for you. Like, you need to work on yourself in order, like, because that will do nothing but kill you.
Well, like, she goes through a series of denials, too, with Sua. It's like,
yeah.
Did you throw up? No, I just gagged a little. Well, you didn't seem like you were sick earlier.
Yeah. When Sua comes out of the bathroom.
And they kind of do that little song and dance, and MiRae's just like, this is different. This is a side of you that does not exist.
Well, because Sua even, like, how long have you been standing here?
Mm-hmm.
What did you hear? Like,
yeah. And then she's like, do you see me as the type of person that would do that sort of thing? Before she, like, baby stomps away.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. This next topic is called Liar, Liar.
So someone actually, during all of this, had gone to check on Kyungseok, and he sees that the honey water had been brought, and asks him if Sua had come. And Kyungseok's just like, well, why? Why would she do that?
Mm-hmm.
And this is when he learns that Sua had told everyone that she liked him.
He's furious.
He is. Like, we use the term baby rage a lot. This is not baby rage. This is, like...
Man rage.
Man rage. Like, this is, like...
Well, he needs somewhere to direct it.
We're gonna burn a house down.
He's just so, like, in his feels with everything that he needs somewhere to direct it, and Sua finally did something stupid again. Surprise, surprise. So, yeah. Perfect opportunity.
Let's go. So he actually goes up to Sua and tells her that they need to talk. Yeah, but then we also see that Woo-young is still nursing his wounds of the rejection, and calls up Taeyong and asks him if they can go drinking. But we have our confrontation between Kyungseok and Sua, and he tells her that he's never hated someone so much, and that he pities her as a person.
I think you skipped over a big chunk.
No? If I did, what did they say? Please tell me.
So...
My notes. That's what I said, my notes are all, like...
You might have just, like, squished things together that I didn't.
That could be also.
But yeah, so MiRae, after he leaves the office, MiRae is thinking back to the days with her eating disorder.
Mm-hmm. Because, I kind of did that whole...
And she thinks back to, like, Sua's self-deprecation and everything, and then CEO Na saying that even with the whole, they're not so different, and then she says, even with that pretty face, she's still unhappy. And then Kyungseok has marched into the lab looking like he's kind of gotten his color back a little bit. And Sua asks him if he's doing better, and he says that they need to talk later. And she plays it cool and says, oh yeah, we can talk later. And MiRae has joined them in the lab as well. And then it goes to Woo-young in his office, who's trying to deal with the fallout of his rejection. Oh, and then you said he called up the guys for the drink.
Yeah.
I just, our order was so, like, whoa, there.
Well, because, I moved MiRae's flashback just up with it, just to finish that whole...
Okay. But everyone gets a verbal lashing from the director, since 2 students have shirked their responsibilities that day. And they're warned that they won't receive a certificate of completion if it happens again. So Sua asked Kyungseok in front of everyone where they should go to talk, and he says that they don't need to leave, they can just talk there. And Sua starts to falter under his angry gaze, and Sungwoo, knowing that it's probably not a great conversation given the way that Kyungseok had reacted in the nurse's station earlier, tells everyone they should probably just get going to give them some space. But MiRae looks worried and leaves with everyone else. After they've all changed, Jihyo is, like, giddy. She's, like, on cloud 9, saying that Kyungseok is so manly, but he should have chosen a more romantic atmosphere. And Eun says that she thought he looked pretty mad, not romantic. But Kyungseok confronts Sua about her confession at lunch that day. You're really something. I've never hated anyone this much. And she asks why he's so cold, and doubting her feelings, and he tells her... What? It did the thing!
It did the
thing!
No!
Yeah, anyway, MiRae walks in and tells Kyungseok, let's go.
Well, because, he pities her as a person.
Yeah.
And he tells her, if I date someone else, does that ruin your reputation of being the most popular girl? Should I tell everyone who I like? Shall I tell everyone that I like Kang MiRae? Yes. Yes, you should.
Twice. 3 times. 8 times.
Because then that's when Sua says that MiRae won't be able to handle what others say because she's trying to...
Too much attention.
Well, she's trying to divert his anger and be like, oh, but she won't be able to handle it.
Well, it's not even that. She's trying to be like...
And like...
She's anything to keep him from coming forward with his feelings. It's like, well, if you care about her, then you won't say anything.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not going to do it for me, do it for her. Just shut up.
Stop talking.
He likes you.
She doesn't even go here.
But that's when MiRae walks in.
Yeah, that's when Sorry. There's almost always a reason to have a Mean Girls reference. Yeah, MiRae showing up.
MiRae shows up and says, let's go. I need to talk to him. And Sua's like, we're having an important conversation here. And MiRae's like, well, I also need to have an important conversation with him. And she goes, or Kyungseok says to her, can you just stop? And so they leave together. But MiRae says, can I talk to her alone first?
Mm-hmm.
And that brings us to topic 6, which is the truth comes out. MiRae looks Sua dead in the eyes and calls her out for not liking her. And the fact that she hates that Kyungseok likes her. And MiRae warns her not to use him or meddle in his life. She goes on to say that she knows why Sua wants to be with him and it's scummy. And Sua scoffs and says, are you thinking straight? And MiRae says, yeah, for the first time, I think I'm finally thinking straight. I can see exactly what you're trying to do. And she reminds Sua of Chanu, Yongchul, and all the times that Sua tried to make her feel ugly and insignificant. And Sua smiles and says, she's right. From the moment I was born and for the rest of my life, I'll be different from you. MiRae says they're a little bit more similar than anyone thinks, but Sua defends herself for being sick earlier that day. And MiRae says the fact that you're bringing this up tells me that you were forcing yourself to throw up. And Sua yells at MiRae and she says, hey. And MiRae says that this is the first time that she's been honest this whole time, showing her real self, and walks away. And Sua calls her brat, saying that MiRae should know her place.
It was a very satisfying scene.
It was a great scene. Topic 7, healing.
Kyungseok asks MiRae what she actually wanted to talk to him about, and she just asks him if he's sober and feeling better. And he's like, that's what you wanted to talk to me about? Really? She's like, yeah, I was worried about you. Like, you clearly weren't doing well. And they go to go have a meal. But then we cut to MiRae's parents, and they're still in a lot of shock of learning what the definition of Gangnam Beauty is. And they just... There's not a good way to get over it at this point. You just have to accept that you had no idea.
Yeah.
You weren't trying to be anything other than, like, you thought it was a good thing, and unfortunately you had to learn that it was
not such a good thing.
Not. But over their meal, Kyungseok learns that Woo-young had told MiRae that he had not gone home that night because he was worried. But then we also see Woo-young drinking with his group of guys, and they're a little bit, like, I don't want to say concerned, but they're definitely confused of, you don't drink, why did you ask us to come drink with you? And you're not going easy on yourself either, like, we're slamming as much as Woo-young can handle slamming alcohol. But then they all talk about their dating lives. But back with Kyungseok and MiRae, he asks her if the reason she had come in was because she was worried that something would happen between him and Sua. And she tells him no, because she already knows that he doesn't like Sua.
Well, and then he stands up to leave, and MiRae says to herself that she just didn't want him to be bothered or angered by anyone else. So we're like halfway to an admission in our own heads.
We're getting there.
So that brings us to topic 8, which is called A Look in the Mirror. Suha gets back to her apartment and thinks back to her conversation with MiRae. And she kind of realizes that her perfect image has been a little bit blemished. And after years of being so careful and vigilant about her ED, she had been caught red-handed. And that only deepens her hatred for MiRae. She gets a phone call, and it's Taeyong, who has drunk-dialed her after his outing with Wooyoung. And she tells him that she's busy and hangs up on him, frustrated that she has lost what she has perceived as a game this whole time. Kyungseok is at the apartment waiting for Wooyoung to return, and he's kind of steeling himself for whatever gloating Wooyoung might be, giving him. But instead, he's carried in by the Hubeis and tossed on the couch. Kyungseok rouses Wooyoung and asks him to sleep in his bed, but it's not really going so well. Wooyoung kind of wakes up and realizes where he is, and he says he needs to brush his teeth. So Kyungseok helps him out a little bit, since he's sort of an invalid at the moment. But Kyungseok puts, the toothpaste on his toothbrush and puts it in his hand. But Wooyoung misses and nearly makes himself throw up with the toothbrush, which honestly felt like a poorly placed joke in the series, all things considered, given that Suha just...
Right.
Anyway, and Kyungseok, in kind of an exasperation, kneels in front of Wooyoung and brushes his teeth for him. But he finally drops Wooyoung in his bed, who thanks him and says, "It's tougher than I thought." And Kyungseok asks, "Why did you drink so much?" And Wooyoung mumbles that MiRae had rejected him, and Kyungseok sees rainbows and puppy dogs. He tries to ask him more, but Wooyoung is just gone.
So the scene of Kyungseok brushing Wooyoung's teeth, that's my favorite scene of the entire show.
Is it?
Because it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
And hilarious. And I've been in that position where I've had to take care of somebody who was that intoxicated. It's a lot more funny when you're the one watching, not when you're the one having to actually
brush somebody's yucky teeth.
Take care of somebody like that.
Yeah.
That was very,
because it goes back to the bromance that we love.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Anyway.
But I love the look on his face, though, when he hears him say, "MiRae rejected me," and he's just like, "Say it again. Say it again.
Please.
What did you just say?
I beg you."
Yeah. But that brings us to topic 9, which I call Day 1. A little goblin reference there.
Starting today is Day 1. So in MiRae's apartment, she and Hyunjung are talking, and Hyunjung is kind of, I wouldn't say very joking, but also sort of joking, asking when they're going to start going on blind dates. Because, she thought that she would be dating somebody by now. She's in college. And MiRae gets a phone call from Kyungseok, and he tells her that they need to meet.
I like, though, that she's looking at the picture of them at the movie theater when he calls her. And she's like, she feels like she got caught looking at the photo. Anyway.
Oh, no. So they meet, and Kyungseok, very awkwardly, because this is who they are as people. I love that MiRae, walks up and then just kind of, looks around, and then, goes and sits on the opposite end of the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not really facing, just,
To be fair, the guy hasn't talked to her in, 3 days.
Right, so. But he's just as bad, because he's just crap, how do I talk to her now?
Yes.
But he gets the confirmation that he needed, that she had rejected Wooyoung.
And she says, "Man, he has a really big mouth."
Yeah, I didn't realize he was gonna say anything.
Yeah.
And I just have the smirk. Kyungseok gives this just ha 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 kind of attitude.
Yep.
And he asks her if they need to leave, and she tells him, "I will tell you why I turned him down. I like you." We did it. We finally. And because what's hilarious about that scene also is he has stood up to leave, and then she says, "No, I like you," and he just, our K-drama trope, just stare.
Uh-huh.
And we're not staring through her soul this time like we were earlier.
We just have Bambi eyes.
We have Bambi eyes, and we're just
Yeah.
I need to hear that again, please. And she tells him that she's shameless after rejecting him twice, but he tells her that it was okay because he had told her that he would wait. And they both, because they are who they are, ask each other if they are dating at the same time.
It's cute.
It's so cute. And MiRae tells him, yes, we are. And they walk home and he asks to hold her hand and the walk up to the apartment and that just like, oh, I guess I'm here now. I guess I have to go inside now. Like, it was very, very adorable.
I put in my notes, they ask each other if they're dating now and they seem to come to a consensus. They stand to go and MiRae tries to leave in the wrong direction, then realizes she should probably wait for her, capital letters, boyfriend, her boo Thang, her Namja Chingu. Sorry. Anyway.
When you do your timestamps, make sure you put that her boyfriend,
Topic 10, called Secret Romance. It is the next morning, and Kyungseok has made breakfast for Wooyoung to soften him up for the news of their relationship, and also probably as a bit of an apology for treating him like crap for the last couple of days. Mm-hmm. But Wooyoung looks like Kyungseok might have poisoned the food. Were I young. Wooyoung gets a bit serious, and he admits to Kyungseok that he confessed and was turned down immediately. Then he tells him to do his best to be good to her. He says MiRae is a bit closed off and very cautious, so it won't be easy. Don't tell her I drank too much because she'll feel sorry. Kyungseok asked if he liked her a lot, and Wooyoung admits that he probably liked her more than he realized. But MiRae wakes up to a text from Kyungseok asking her to go to Kellen together, and she rushes off to get ready to look just right, leaving Hyunjung kind of wondering what the heck her deal is. But meanwhile, at the bus stop, Kyungseok is trying out a few poses to gauge what would look the coolest when MiRae walks up. And she strolls up kind of nervously in a really, really cute sundress. Mm-hmm. Kind of got some cinching on the side.
I liked it. Very cute.
And he's wearing all white for a change with a denim jacket. And they have a really stiff exchange, which makes MiRae laugh at herself, saying it kind of sounds like an English practice conversation. But as they board the bus, Kyungseok brings up Wooyoung, and MiRae asks if he's told him that they're dating yet. He asks her if he should, and she says that she feels sorry toward him and doesn't want to tell him that she had moved on right away. And MiRae says that Wooyoung is cheering for them, so she wants to be kind to him. Kyungseok says, I guess brushing his teeth was worth it. Then MiRae asks to keep their whole relationship a secret, and Kyungseok decides that they can hold hands on the bus since no one knows them. And when she doesn't really reciprocate, he kind of goes to move his hand away, but then she's like, no.
I'll give you my hand.
I'd do it. But it is at Kellen, and Ji-hyo asks Sungwoon if he thinks Kyungseok and Suha will show up together. Suha walks in, and Ji-hyo asks how things went, and Suha says that she likes someone else, or that he likes someone else, which kind of shocks the other two. But Sungwoon calls Wonho right away, saying that Suha got rejected, which Dongwon also overhears. And Sungwoon says, I wonder if it's someone prettier than Suha, and Wonho very coolly says, Suha's not that pretty. Which annoys the heck out of Sungwoon, and honestly it should, because that man has been drugged through the trenches with his friend.
He was right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Just go join the military.
Yeah, grow up.
Please.
But go ahead and finish out the episode.
Military. Okay. Kyungseok and MiRae decide that they're not going to raise suspicion by telling each other to go into the building first, which makes you look more suspicious. Because Un walks up and asks, what are you doing? You're going to go in, right?
Yeah.
And Kyungseok goes inside, and Un tells MiRae that she's pretty sure that Kyungseok likes her. Inside the lab, Tae-hee tells Yeona that she feels bad for Suha, but honestly she should have kept it to herself about liking Kyungseok. And even Yeona is just like, yeah, she didn't have to say that. Like, I liked him too. And she's like, you were just hitting on him. Like, you were being annoying about it. Like, let's see. But as Kyungseok walks in the building, Suha calls him over and asks if they can finish their conversation. You know, she had told everybody that he had rejected her. And then asks, are you and MiRae dating? When MiRae walks up and says, yes, we are dating. End of episode.
Character of the hour.
I have MiRae. Girl's finally being brave. Or being the brave and smart girl I've been waiting to see her become.
Yes. Agreed. I have Wooyoung. He waves the white flag so chivalrously.
There we go. We did it.
Sorry. I just think there's something admirable in knowing when to like count your losses and just like get out of there. Something that Sua has not figured out. Yeah. But then MiRae also, she's learning to be assertive, but she's still pretty awkward about it because she's testing her wings. She's never really done this before for herself, so it's there, but she's got to like grow into it a little bit. I think.
But she's doing that finally.
She is, and it's a huge sigh of relief for the watcher. I'm sure you experienced that on this episode.
Yes.
Did you watch it like this week, or did you watch it?
I watched it last week.
But anyway, final thoughts.
I'm glad that it didn't feel like it took as long in the episode for Kyungseok and MiRae to finally talk. Mm-hmm. Like, I know it was towards the end of the episode, but it didn't feel like just waiting and waiting and waiting for that to happen.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a relief, especially since it took until this episode for it to finally...
What is it, episode 13?
We're in episode 13. And that's not, like, super uncommon for a K-drama episode.
Still frustrating.
Yeah, and this was a different level of frustrating.
Mm-hmm. Because there's people, like, rowing the boat backwards for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the fact that we're finally, like, Sua's mask is breaking. It's not just cracking, it's... chunks are starting to fall off. Which, finally, we can get some resolution there. But then also, I did like the bromance. the really, like, they're like, why did you drink so much? You can't even handle any alcohol. Like, come on. So, this one, I didn't feel as painful to finally get that. I mean, it was painful to get to this episode to finally get that, but this episode didn't, like... Break you. Like, Goblin broke you.
Well, Goblin's a whole different story.
Of breaking.
Yeah. I've not cried that hard at a drama in a really long time.
Which is why I refuse to watch Crash Landing with You. I don't want to cry like that.
Nope.
I don't want to. Nope.
Anyway. I said it's nice to see Suwa being dethroned. However, it's extremely frustrating for me to see how fickle all of her, like, followers are.
Yeah, Wano, come on, my dude.
Yeah, he's such a piece of work. And the way that he's trying to, like, emulate Kyungseok is just really painful to watch and to have to sit through. He just needs to figure out his own personality. And I think he's at that age where he hasn't quite figured it out. Hence why someone wants him to go to the military so badly. But anyway, that's episode 13. Oh, also, peep our international shawls today. Mine is from India.
Mine is from Peru. Mine's alpaca.
Shout out to my cousin.
I did it.
Kiss the babies for me. Okay.
Bye. Oh, I feel like that one was... Oh no!
One time I don't check the stupid thing.
Did it really not record? We got it all on camera!
Oh, that's true! I can use the camera audio, thank goodness! You can see my slow descent into insanity on camera now. I just broke.
I know, you threw your glasses and everything. You threw the glasses and started to rock.
Like what you're hearing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any new episodes. We'd love to connect with you on our Instagram at The KDrama Show. For more behind-the-scenes content, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Links are in the show notes. Thanks for hanging out with us on The KDrama Show with Ashley and Kim, and we'll see you next time.